And
like bullet chess, right? Best players in the world play bullet chess. That's where the true skill comes out.
I watched XQC play chess on Twitch, and I'm pretty sure that I'm really good at that game.
I think a lot of people are just very bad at chess.
Oh man, a lot of people are really bad at Dota. Some of them on this panel right now as we keep on moving forward. And I'm not going to say who.
We've got to pick him.
That's why I miss Winter. Winter was good at both chess and Dota.
That's true. He also is an incredible chef. You guys should follow Winter on Twitter and Instagram. That dude just makes... He'll like say, I was a little disappointed in my souffle, and meanwhile it's like flawless and it's got decorations.
I feel like I actually feel like cooking is one of those skills where if you become good at cooking, you become better at literally everything in life.
Yeah.
It has every single skill involved in it. Like I actually have a friend who's like 99 cooking in RuneScape. It makes like easily $1 million a year. And I'm pretty sure it's even because of, like, I think even RuneScape cooking affects your life that dramatically. I think cooking is probably the best skill that you can have in life.
Yeah, and speaking of skills, this Faceless Void I expected to get banned just because he lanes well against the bat with the time dilation. Yeah. You can potentially just leap away and prevent any sticky follow-up. But the Grimstroke bat combo, I'm a huge fan of. It's something Liquid loves to use as well because it's all about the BKB piercing effects. You can just Grimstroke ult someone, lasso one of them, and now you've got both. Drag them together, lump them up for the AoE, and now a Dragon Knight on top. So you've got a point-and-click stun. So a lot of ways to utilize Grimstroke already in the draft, and it's good point-and-click lockdown for the Void.
All right, great things on the side of 5Comrades. What are we thinking so far? Bates draft Tsunami?
I am amazed that they let the Faceless Void go through. As nice as Soulbind combinations are, I don't know how you managed to get inside the Chrono, and just based off of the 3 heroes that we see so far.
Why is that so dirty? Why is that apple so dirty? Can we get it? Like, what the hell?
It's just
you can see it. Like you can see it without a close-up.
It's realism.
That's awful looking.
What are you talking about? That's what real apples look like. Yeah. Don't apple shame,
Kyle.
I
will say that is something that I think we really do need to make a statement about. You should stop being so bigoted against ugly fruit. Okay? It doesn't, like, we have this fascination with fruit. It has to be perfect looking. That honestly would still be edible, assuming that weird stuff isn't mold. If it were an edible apple.
Anybody who's listening at home, please stop using Instagram filters on fruit when you take pictures of it, and please stop putting Kyle on my fucking panels. As we continue moving forward here in this draft, Faceless Void obviously going to be a huge thing to pay attention to. God damn it, Tsunami. I used to count on you, man. I used to count on you. The Faceless Void.
Oh, yeah.
Through. Is there anything that Bait can grab to even further take advantage of those Chronos?
At this point, I think you lean into the team fight because in the pickoff situations, you are going to lose with Soulbind Lasso, Soulbind DK Stun. Burst damage like this is useful, being able to just eliminate a target in the Chronosphere so that Void doesn't have to worry about it and can move on to someone else. And I think Lean is almost like 50-54 position and core these days, so I can't even confidently say which way Bait's gonna play.
I think it's got to be core in this spot. I really just don't like. You could just put the tiny mid. I think that's a Dendy hero, but like they're both Dendy heroes. Could easily be Lean as well. Their last pick for the offlane is what is.
You know what else is a Dendy hero is AA, man. He's been loving AA, which would not be bad against DK, but I don't think you should pick it.
No, definitely not. I think you could potentially go for like a Necro, something that just has that super high magical damage, but I just think you put that in the offlane. Like you last pick your offlaner.
A tanky offlaner.
Yeah, preferably magic damage focused.
Yeah, I'm down.
Wouldn't be a bad Lesh game, but nobody... I don't even believe in the Lesh. It has no method of self-sustain. I realized what the problem was, is that all the good heroes right now just have a method of staying on map. Heroes like Lesh, they're already squishy.
Yeah.
You tank one spell and you just don't feel good anymore.
I think in that specific case, why would you ever pick Lesh when you could pick Pugna?
There you go.
Unless if it's an illusion-based hero. But even then, Pugna's like pretty good against most illusion-based heroes other than PL, just because life drain's such a low cooldown. I'm with you.
Yeah. Are you with us, Rich? You were just lost in thought for a while.
No, I was thinking about how we could use the apple, and I was thinking about making it like, what if you could only talk when you held the apple, and then I could just pass the apple back and forth.
A Socratic circle type situation.
And then after that, I started thinking about this thing in the middle. I was like, what if we lit a fire right now? And then I thought about fire for a little while. And now I'm looking at this draft, and Bait's draft is looking absolutely fire. Top tier waifu and Lena, and now they're just looking for a way on Radiant to close this out. And it seems like they already have a lot going on, and this Crow No is looking like a Crow yes.
You're right. Everything you said. Love it. Love it. On point. All Bait are missing is that last little bit of sassafras. Like, what?
Sorry, I'm so bad at throwing.
Oh my god, I was getting so tired listening to him. Thank god you gave me the apple. Anyway, Crow yes, on board with it. Did you just
No.
I'm confiscating the apple.
All right, so actually, you know what?
I like the Beastmaster Law. It gives them tempo. You want to have some sort of minor steroid for the Void, and it also allows you, it gives vision, and it pushes towers, so that Void doesn't have as much pressure to like make individual plays. He can just kind of chill, wait for good chronos, and advantageous team fights.
My issue is he isn't that tanky. I don't really know whenever you start a team fight, like, you're going to have to get very clean initiation, but if 5Comrades starts a team fight, I don't know who breaks it up. Whoa. CK is
it's a very exotic hero. What the heck?
Yeah, that's off the beaten path for sure. They have
It's quite nice though, because it owns Void and it owns Beastmaster, specifically in the laning phase, because you just reality rift the boars, kill them, and you just kind of own Beast the entire game. But if you get an ult off, you just explode them.
Last time I saw CK, I was playing Underlords. Very surprised to see this. How do we actually feel all in all now with what happened with 5Comrades?
You gotta work on your throws. I like the option. My concern is you're now super cooldown dependent. If you don't have DK form or CK ulti, you're screwed. Even with the 3-night synergy. I think if they had that 4th night for the increased damage reduction, it'd be a much better draft.
I don't think Bait can push fast enough before 5Comrades gets tanky beyond killability, like, which is not that's a Kyleism.
Can you explain killability?
Yeah, the ability to be killed.
EGB.com stats are in. They favor Bait. Had to do that really quick. Killability.
Yeah, I would probably say I lean Bait just because I'm not a huge believer in CK, but I do think, especially with the buffs to Midas, if he gets to like Midas Manta Heart or something, they might just straight up win the game.
Have you noticed that we started talking faster every single time that we get the apple for no reason at all? I have no idea why it's happening.
I'm really stressed out, but I'm going to go with 5Comrades on this one. It seems like a better draft.
Who do you think's going to take it?
I'm not really sure, but I think Bait.
We got a little bit more time for the casters.
What happens when the apple's in the air? Can anyone talk?
Everyone can.
Twitch chat.
Oh! Better throw quick.
Chat can talk. No, I'm not ready to throw it yet, but Twitch chat can talk when the apple's in the air.
Do you think you can throw it to Capitalist and he'll catch it properly?
Of course he can.
You spoiled my whole thing. Of course that's what I was going to do.
Of course. Like, are you serious? Come on.
I don't trust his hand-eye coordination.
All right, well, it's time to toss over to the casters.
I'll be 100% honest to you. That went exactly as I expected it to go. With Rich in charge of these things, you know it's just not going to go right. Welcome, Lizard. How's it going, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I felt watching that panel, too. Yeah.
Yeah, what can I say? I'm being bombarded by apples here, but...
Rich is yet to get one on point, by the way. He's thrown like 5 more apples. They've all missed. Hopefully, our 5Comrades won't be missing because, well, hearing from all of the people who have been working here in this lovely studio and have watched some of the Divine matches, to put it very, very nicely, they think 5Comrades sucks.
They didn't really prove their point with the CK in the closed qualifiers as well. They picked it once or twice, and it definitely did fail quite heavily. But like in the last series, they picked it very early on, like the Arc Warden, and then it got countered heavily, right? This time around, it is picked a little bit later, and because of that, it isn't really countered that hard. Now's the time to shine. Like in this game, they have to prove their point, because if the CK doesn't work here, I don't know when it will.
So, you know, when I said everybody here. I actually was not including you in that list. I have not heard your thoughts on 5Comrades. What are some of their bright points about them as a team?
Well, they do have Exotic Deer, and that's pretty much the only player that we as analysts are familiar with. The rest of them really have been playing in EU forever, but it's mostly pubs, and we don't talk about those. So Exotic Deer is their bright, shining star. He's playing that CK. He has a pretty good lane here together with Flash, who's, let's say, another one that's fairly famous when it comes to their team. You have a good combo. You have Inkswell. That double stun is pretty solid.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to at least get a good laning phase win in here, because they certainly need that, or they don't need the extra help in bottom lane, because that's a double damage reduction lane. Dragon Knight Rubik, that feels like a free win to me.
Yeah, I was just about to mention it. Rubik Fade Bolt plus Breath of Fire from the Dragon Knight. That Void is going to have a miserable time. He should pray for those bashes. That's the only thing that salvages his lane over here.
That's the only damage he can put out. Divine Llama going to be pushed away by the Disruptor. But yeah, this is like a very young team, right? We've got Exotic Deer, who has a history of pretty much playing with the same kind of players for a really long time. He was a very promising player all the way back on that alternate attacks team, and pretty much ever since then, he was on the El Lisage rosters.
Yeah, El Lisage, his Polish friend that actually quit Dota, I believe. He retired. So most of those players either found their success, like Nisha did, or like El Lisage, they just stopped playing. So I'm actually happy that Exotic Deer is still trying, because this guy is very talented, and he's fun. He's always fun.
Fuck him in. Exotic Deer is like desperate to just run in, and as a result, his allies blocked out of the safety of the tower. He could have lived, Deer. He could have lived, but instead, last hero gets the first block. I can't believe he skid the hell out of my way.
Yeah, I understand why his teammates are retiring now. That's what's happening. Like, just as I'm about to build him up, say some nice things, he does that to his Grimstroke.
Oh, Dandy. Oh, he might just be able to get the kill. Oh. Damn, just a little bit more. He was on something like 10, 20 HP.
He should have a salve flying out to him as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, the courier is still a ways away, so if Dandy catches him on that one, that is going to be the kill. Exotic Deer charging forward. He's going to be able to catch last hero. And do they have another round of nukes? Doesn't look like it.
The problem is last hero is already level 3. He's fresh out of... I was gonna do that. Jail? Like, he's been a little bit in Belarus there, if you know that story. Like, he didn't commit any crimes as much as I'm aware. He was protesting over there. There's some really bad politics aside. He's level 3 here, and because of that, he has that slow on the board. It's level 2. From this point onwards, it's going to be extremely hard for them to take him down.
Yeah, now it's just like level 1 board you can kind of deal with, but once it starts getting to level 2 and 3, it starts becoming tanky enough that sometimes it's not worth putting in the effort.
Bottom lane, Disruptor right now is such a hero that if he buys enough mangoes, he's just spamming that nuke on you, and you have to bail at one point. Rubik also didn't really start with a lot of sustain items. He started with 1 or 2 sets of tangos, so it won't be that easy for him to fight back. But looking at CS, however, CK, he's having a blast. While on the other side, Void, 12 CS, he's alright, considering he has 2 damage reduction heroes against him.
Trying to jump in. On to last hero again. Inkswell, nicely positioned there from Exotic Deer to hit the 2 of them, but he can't actually win this man fight. Not with the boar in play from last hero and just the raw physical damage between those 2 heroes, so he's going to have to back away. We started this talking about how the 5 here are a bunch of relatively new players to the competitive scene, but so is Bait. This is this Bait roster. They've been kind of shuffling around quite a bit around Dendy and have tried to put together a roster to find some sort of success. And well, they've done a pretty poor job of that for a lot of the previous rosters, right?
Well, when it comes to this particular roster, they're doing much better than the previous one, which went like 0-22. At one point, you just couldn't watch them any longer. It hurt to watch them. But they've had some good games here in the Omega League close qualifiers. Yeah, most notable was the Dandy's blink into the Chrono, which lost them the chance to go to the finals. But yeah, mistakes happen.
when these things happen. They have taken a chance on a bunch of new players, and nice kill there on last hero. Bunch of new players that some of which have never been on a professional team before, like 5Up. This is his first team. Chrysalis was only on Viking GG for about a month and a half. Daki, he's going to try and run down Dendy here. The LSA, though, nice turnaround from Dendy, placing the LSA in front of him, but the bottom of the AoE still managing to hit behind him and catching the Bat Rider.
Yeah, he should get some more comrades down to the mid lane to try and get those kills, because Bat Rider, he just isn't as strong as before. Those nerfs really do hurt him. You can still play around that, but you need a couple of teammates to come rotate in to make sure that those first couple of kills go your way. This right now is looking horrendous for the Bat Rider. Lina is sitting on 33 CS, 2 kills to her name. You don't even have 20 on the Bat Rider.
Has been killed.
Cane Rune pickup, no boots. This is a bit rough for a hero that really needs to be able to walk away with a win in his laning phase. Get those early boots of travel, start doing some things. Toss back here, Chrysalis. The time walk on cooldown, just comps a bunch of damage.
Speaking of these new players, you have Chrysalis. He's struggling on this lane. I believe I first talked to one of the coaches about him. I think it was Kips. She mentioned him, and she told that he's very, very talented. She worked with him with some previous amateur stacks. The only problem is his hero pool is extremely limited. He has a couple of heroes that he plays extremely well, and then the others he's a little bit subpar on.
Well, I guess we'll see whether or not Void is one of those heroes he can succeed on. I assume it is, just because it's kind of one of those classic heroes. Another combo from the Chaos Knight to bring last hero low, but not enough to be able to get the kill, and now he's been burned out of his mana, and they've used that big ultimate and still being chased away. His 5Up's going to go for the toss and straight up kill on Exotic Deer. Almost gets it. They do have the wand charges, and that will be enough to let the Chaos Knight live, but still, it's a nasty situation for the 5Comrades up here.
Yeah, he's healing up, however. On the other side, you have the Beastmaster and the Tiny, who have to be a bit careful. However, with some mana, with the salves, they could strike back again. Remember, Grimstroke, he's completely useless now. He has no mana. So maybe this is the time for CK to abandon ship, to go to that jungle. For a little bit, at least.
8-minute power runes coming up. I like seeing this matchup though, just because it is a bunch of new people on both sides. I always get kind of excited about that, just because like I know like 1 or 2 of these players, I'm going to be talking about them a year, year and a half, 2 years from now, right? And it'll be nice just to be able to have that like register of like, oh, I saw them when they first came in, you know?
Yeah. Will it be Dandy?
Could be. I mean, he's an up-and-comer, you know?
Hasn't been around for way too long. I mean, he's had his success story already.
Yeah.
But I would love to see him succeed once again.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he is still the face of Dota. And, I mean, I think it's absolutely incredible to be able to have that kind of success and still have the drive. Despite running into failure after failure after failure, still have the drive to compete. I mean, Dendy could do whatever the hell he wants. He could be an analyst easy. He could stream all the time. He'd make tons of money off of that.
Yeah, on the English talent side or on the Russian one.
I loved working with him on panel, and I have no doubt that he's great on the CIS scene as well.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone would have him, but I think that's true love for the game. That's really where it comes from. Like, there is no way you can sustain years and years of practice and failure that come with that and still continue playing without really, really loving the game.
Yeah, we can all like poke fun, you know, like Bates' horrible losing records and stuff like that, but they're like, no matter how much fun we have with that, there's still a core there of just like really wanting him to succeed and hoping that he will find that comeback.
Yeah. In this game, he did succeed off of that mid lane. Lina is doing extremely well. He has shut down the Bat Rider. Now he's rotating back top with the last hero. This should be an easy tower for them to take. The only one struggling really on their side right now is the Void.
Yeah.
He's extremely underfarmed and is going for that Midas. So.
And as a result of Dendy winning that mid matchup so hard, rotating like this, he's opened up the mid lane, but the mid lane may not be so safe. Daki?
What happened?
He didn't get the lasso. I'm not sure. He had the opportunity to. Now there's going to be the Chronosphere where Dendy can sit outside. Oh, Kate walks into it for a second, but it doesn't really matter. The Bat Rider will fall in the end.
Did you maybe watch the game versus Tempo that they had? They literally lost it because of him walking into the chrono.
I saw the clip.
Yeah, he might have even done it on purpose here, just for the lol.
Yeah. Just
yeah, why didn't they lasso the Void? I'm certain they had the range. He had mana.
yeah.
Some small mistakes there. This is pretty much recovery now for the Void, and I was just about to flame him. What are you doing mid? Why are you in the most dangerous position? But it worked out well.
Ducky perhaps a little bit nervous. Another very, very new player onto the scene. Most of 5Comrades don't even have a wiki page to be able to reference. A Swedish player, and I asked their manager, and apparently you pronounce his name Ducky. That's why I've been saying it. So everyone I asked on Twitter, Lizard, and when I ask these things, it's amazing. Everyone gives me an answer that they think might be it.
But
I can also have a guess that Taki or something, but I don't need a guess. I need an answer, and that's what managers are good for.
I guess the best way is to ask the player, right?
Yeah,
like, even the
exactly.
managers can be a little bit iffy when it comes to that, but the player should I guess know how his name is pronounced.
Yeah. Apparently the NT is turns into a D sound. I'm guessing that's in Swedish.
All right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the Nordish players on the 5Comrades, which is interesting. Out of 5Comrades, I guess only Exotic Deer is from a comrade kind of a country, coming from Poland, right?
Yeah, they have players from all over the place. I think they have a player from Belgium, Romania, Germany.
Okay, Romania is up there as well. Well, it's close enough.
Yeah, both Flash and Davai Lama, which I love that name.
Yeah, it's good.
That's a good one.
I actually struggled to remember the correct name after reading Davai Lama. It was just stuck in my head.
Yeah.
I couldn't shake it off. Alright, Dragonite already with the double bracers, power treads. He feels unkillable with this build already. And we should pretty much just look at him and you'll know where 5Comrades are about to go. As soon as he has that form, the team is about to converge around him and they will try to go for objectives. That should be their game plan. Because CK, so far, what have we seen from him? He's just using his ulti to farm.
Yeah. He went for Hanamitis as well, so he is fully focused on just farming. So I'd kind of like to see them just run those three other heroes behind the DK and see if they can pressure that mid tower and start chipping away at it. I mean, that's always the strength of a Dragonite, right? Whether he's in the mid lane or no, he just kind of can plant himself in a lane, poke at the tower, and eventually it'll go down.
Yeah, you take one tower, then you go to the other, that's your game plan. It's a 5-hat game plan from the Dragonite. However, usually you can see if the team is really good or not just by watching if they play around the Dragonite well or not.
Oh, look at this. They're going to force the time walk, and it's right into the hands of the Bat Rider. And this time around, he'll get the lasso, but he's pulled away by the glimpse, so it doesn't last for long. But they get the Soulbind from Flash that's still holding these heroes, but they got the Chronosphere in return. So he's still kind of stuck in the Soulbind for a little bit longer, but there's no spells going out thanks to the Disruptor. 5 up, caught by the Chaos Knight is going to be finished off. Bloody Sky, though, torn apart by Dendy, who got a few hits in. Glimpse him back once again, and that'll finish him off. Last hero just kind of being the bane of 5Comrades, because they can't really push into this Beastmaster with this early Necro book very easily.
It's not only the early Necro books, right? It's the Hawk. It's giving you so much info that you can anticipate all the movements that are coming, specifically when you're playing versus Bat Rider.
Yeah, those are like classic combinations, right? Daki tries to push away Dendy to prevent the LSA from coming in. It doesn't actually hit the Bat Rider because he needed to get it off before the silence hit him for the Phantom's Embrace. It does cost Flash's life, but it gives Daki a little bit of time to work with, almost getting the kills, but he ends up killing the melee Necronomicon unit, which ends up resulting just a burst of damage. He goes down before he can get the kill.
Disruptor is just doing a ton of work. Look, another catch.
And they just keep on running at him at this point. They sense weakness, and if you are in vision, you're probably going to be dying.
Now, Fishman is doing some godly work on his side.
Dragonite thinking that he can put himself there. They've got the Laguna Plate to finish him off. And yeah, Dendy
Oh.
He helps deliver that final blow. Flash comes in, does hit a nice Inkswell. Coming in from behind is Exotic Deer, so this was actually maybe a better bait than it looked initially. The Dragon Knight may have died for it, but he actually convinces bait to all group up around this Tier 1 tower, and as a result, they're going to get 3 kills, perhaps one more hit, and that'll be enough. Ducky is going to get turned around on, though, by the Primal Roar from Last Hero.
All right.
Bigger and bigger.
All right, I'm actually satisfied that 5Comrades at least are showing teeth, right? Like they're striking back. I expect once I saw Flash TPing mid, I was like, oh no, not like this.
But I'm not gonna lie, I had it in my head that if this kept going, I was like, man, they might be GG announced too.
That just looked like one of my pubs right there.
Yeah.
But Exotic Deer, the way that he is farming allows him to rotate from behind and attack the enemy, so they had that play.
It's just so harsh, man. He is constantly slowed down, whether it's from the Necronomicon Purge, the boar that's coming in, which you can now see Divine Llama's having to deal with, and if he ever gets a small distance away, he gets glimpsed back as well.
Yeah, and as well, Exotic Deer, because of farming the way he farms, he gets caught and picked off easily. Like, he's the kind of a carry that will always be in the enemy jungle, right? He's always farming in difficult spots. Because of that, 2 things can happen. You can either get ganked easily, or you can gank easily and connect to your teammates. Yeah. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, bait is looking very good right now. Even going for the late Hannah Midas on the Faceless Void, just to, I guess, make sure that he's kind of stays ahead of the Chaos Knight.
Ahead? Is he keeping up with him right now?
I don't know.
I don't think he is. He had a very, very difficult start, right? But
that's true. That's true.
He can catch up to him, perhaps, if the team fights go well.
Toss forward. No, he gets lassoed first. Nice reaction there from Daki. Unfortunately, he's not going to do enough damage. Last Hero could have turned around and maybe gotten off the Primal Roar, but he has to get out of the fire first. Can he slow him down? Can he get the Purge off just in time for the Flame Break? It's going to cost him a toss from 5 up. But they're trying to keep this Batrider corralled because they have more heroes coming in. Daki actually kills that melee Necronomicon, and Fishman, he makes sure that the Batrider's not going anywhere.
Yeah, usually let's just follow this up.
Yeah, they're just going to clean up the supports now, I think. Okay, maybe not.
Usually when you get tiny airlines, it's unfortunate, right? But he tries to like recover and maybe toss you out. This guy, no, he tossed him back in once again.
Yeah, he's just, damn, you're dead.
Yeah, like, who cares?
You're just going to use your corpse as a weapon. Why not?
Just do some damage, if nothing else. I think Beastmaster could have lived there if he purged himself and not the Batrider, right? Not really. Never mind.
Oh yeah, like can you do that with that purge? Can you use it defensively?
My mind just went like.
You were coming up with some real 5-head plays. You were trying to go like way
right
too
now,
deep into it. Okay. I got you. Dandy just kind of poking at him. Exotic Deer is gonna have to be the saving grace of this this squad, but he dodged it. Nicely done, using the Phantasm to dodge the Glimpse pullback there.
Yeah, that's a really, really long cooldown, however.
Yeah.
Like, if you're using that ultimate defensively like that, that's already a little bit of a loss. At least you can farm with it, which is pretty much how he's been using that ultimate.
What is this? The Rubik just kind of running forward and dying. Right? Am I crazy? I'm pretty sure I watched him on the minimap, just kind of like walk down the lane.
He's the Vailama. He's for peace.
Yeah.
He's made an offering. He hopes they'll reciprocate.
Here you go, Divide. All right, well, this is looking like a pretty free Roshan at this point. You can kind of poke with Stroke of Fate and such, but the part of the problem is it's like if you are in vision and bait just runs out of the pit, they're going to glimpse you. And there's a hawk or something.
Yeah, exactly. There is a hawk, and because of that, it's very difficult for them to commit. And they know there's a chrono, right?
Yeah.
You can't really.
It's so scary when you lose, like if you feel like you're really behind against a Disruptor lineup, because the Disruptor just has so much freedom to run at you, like suicidally so. Just goes at you all the time, and you're like, oh god, I have to keep running, I have to stay out of sight. If he glimpses me, I'm dead.
Yeah, and you can't really stay out of sight, right? Because of the Beastmaster once again. It's a really good Disruptor game.
Successful scan and a good initiation onto the Lina. See if they can keep him chain stun off of Lasso into the Dragon Tail. They need a little bit more, though. It gets off the old Scepter. Now the Chronosphere stuck inside it. But if the Void can deal with the rest of these heroes, no. Dendy's definitely dead. He's going to be caught by the Telekinesis because Exotic Deer is on his way. He is super farmed, and they're going to try and kill Dendy twice here. A buyback, but Dendy's already dead. Divine Llama doesn't actually die into the tiny combination either. That was a disaster for Bait. And 5Comrades, they weren't actually behind that much in net worth. In fact, I think they were still slightly ahead because Exotic Deer had been farming so well.
Yeah, he, in the contrast of Void, who has absolutely nothing, CK is actually doubling his net worth because he had that early Midas, and he rotated away from the lane into the jungle early on. Void, however, after the laning stage, he just tried to fight constantly, which is resulting in him having 7k net worth right now.
Yeah.
But a really good fight from Exotic Deer. He came from behind, he used his ulti and just cleaned up.
That should help.
Well, what do you do if you're Bait at this point? Because it's not like you can really take advantage of the fact that Phantasm is on cooldown.
Yeah, you just lost a big fight, even having all your spells. Like, you use that chrono.
Yeah.
I think they're facing this one problem is that they really don't have a lot of damage in that chronosphere. And they need to find a way to take down the CK, even with this heavily underfarmed Void. It's a hard thing to do at the moment.
I'd love to be able to just, I kind of want to go back through this replay and just watch the Chaos Knight, because it's kind of astounding. Like, granted, he's matched up against a Void who doesn't really have the best farming steroids. He just has his hand of Midas. But it is kind of insane how the pace of this game has felt like 5Comrades being run at, losing fights, but Exotic Deer was farming so well. Like, I wonder what kind of, like, he was just using the Phantasm off cooldown all the time. They do manage to catch the Beastmaster here. It's a really nice kill, too.
He was using Phantasm off cooldown all the time, plus he was always using it for farming and taking fights afterwards. So he would use Phantasm around the bottom lane to farm, then connect on the mid lane with the same illusions. And here, he also had Phantasm when he joined, even though he used it earlier. So he's actually doing really well when it comes to that, when it comes to utilizing his ultimate to the full extent.
And it helps that he's 6-1-2, so he's gotten the last hit on a large number of kills. I wonder if they, like, stacked up Ancients. I haven't seen a Chaos Knight in a while. I imagine with Phantasm you can do Ancient stacks.
Yeah, I don't think that's relatively okay, but I don't think you want to. I think it's faster to just clean one by one for a CK if he doesn't have any help around them. But overall, like, what's the way for Bait to take down the CK once he gets that heart?
Yeah, they're just straight up going to run out of damage.
The Void is probably their biggest issue. Like, he's dirt poor right now.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh. Also, how do you feel about Lina? Like, heroes sometimes really... Yeah.
Okay, all right. I can tell you right away.
We don't
Not
have
a big
to go.
fan of poor Lina right now. But I'm more forgiving of it because they have a Void, right? It's like, okay, you get the right kind of Chronospheres. Like, you just immediately throw out Dragon Slave and Laguna Blade, and you can get a lot of right-click damage in.
Yeah, and that chrono is also good for the Lina because it eliminates one pathway for heroes to get to her, right? So you're a little bit safer and it's easier to position yourself. But overall, once this CK gets any mobility tool, God forbid he gets a Blink Dagger, this Lina will disappear in one shot from Phantasm.
Yep. It's not going to be fun whatsoever. Well, we do have a very even game on our hands, according to Dota Plus, which I can't really disagree with. It feels like we could see Bait just very rapidly. Like, once you do get that heart, you probably just run at Bait over and over again.
Yeah, I don't think they really have the damage to take him down any longer.
Yeah.
They need to really stack up their stacks properly, stuns properly. That's toss back into Roar, into LSA, into Disruptor ulti. You have to use everything you've got to take him down.
Yeah.
It will be extremely difficult.
I wonder what that's about.
I think that's a diss to Chrysalis because one of those heroes that I talked about is Monkey King. He plays a lot of monkey.
Let's see how long. Oh, we gotta get the chat.
Give us the chat.
Gotta get the chat.
Give us the chat.
Give us the chat. Chat.
They won't give us. They want us to talk about the items. Like that's it. There we go. We got sorry go. Nice. Also, he got a pretty sick neutral item. The Dragon Scale is exactly what he needs for a game such as this one. a little bit extra tankiness for him.
Yeah. Yeah, you give Strength Heroes just a little bit of armor. Ooh, it is very effective.
The other game that they played with CK was a completely different story. He could never come online, even with all the items, all the spells. Like he was just countered hard. In this game,
so do you think did they change something? Is there something different about their draft?
no, it's just Bates' draft, I think, and the fact that CK was last picked.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. Maybe in that other game it wasn't. I can't really remember, but maybe it wasn't the last pick.
Nice use of the clumsy net there. Ducky is going to be pulled back. Nice Chronosphere. Chrysalis pump faking it once and then gets a better position to catch two.
Oh, nice blink out.
That was a very close call. The Dragon Tail almost snagging the Tiny. So they get a nice kill in the Bat Rider and they force out the Dragon form. This is a great position for Bait.
Yeah, they did use the Chrono, right, which opens up the map a little bit for 5Comrades from now on. But this is exactly how they need to play. You need to split this map up, kill everyone else, use that Chrono every single time it's off cooldown, and just dodge Exotic Deer. Don't fight him.
Start chipping away at that tier 1 tower.
Did you see Tiny's item build? He's actually going Blink into Veil. Like, it just gets some extra damage.
Okay.
You know that the CK isn't building a BKB, right? So perhaps that Veil will allow you to dish out the damage from the Lina to add it up a little bit.
Yeah, I also think it's underrated that like more people should try and get Veil when you have a magic damage dealing core that can't build it for themselves. Veil right now is very, very efficient item too.
It's cost effective.
Yeah.
It gives you good stats. Overall it's pretty solid for most supports, I would say. Especially when you consider that Venomancer is played quite a lot. Like if you have a Venom in your team, just buy a Veil for him.
5Comrades. Take tier 1 and tier 2 in the top lane, so that'll complete Exotic Deer's hearts. And now we'll see whether or not our prediction comes true. If they get the heart and just kind of run at Bait, we'll see if Bait actually has the damage to be able to contend with that.
They don't have a smoke right now, and 5-up is in a pretty decent position. He's waiting to break that smoke pretty much. He expects them to be coming, but they aren't. They're just satisfied, chilling in their woods, farming.
Yeah, they've still, they almost have the BKB. Well, almost. It's a relative. He needs another like 1,200 gold on the DK.
Yeah, and look at Void, man. Like, just a few minutes ago, he was sitting on 6k. He's gotten some farm. This Midas is paying off. And this is so important for them. They're keeping this triangle over here. They're not going away from it, plus they're creep skipping mid lane. Look at this. This pretty much prevents 5Comrades from going out and attacking the tier 2 mid lane.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like this a lot. You just keep on cutting on it. You are not only playing on a high ground, but a high ground that you no doubt have huge advantage because you've got both a Beastmaster and very likely good vision around.
And because of that, they take 2 tier 2s, and they haven't even been contested.
Yeah.
Now, one bad side of this is the fact that Dyro always has the advantage of Rosh Pit. They're mimicking their movements, right? They're taking the other triangle, but they're closer to Rosh. So that's a small downside to the way Bait has been playing.
Another big downside is Exotic Deer, thanks to his heart, can just keep on hitting a tower, and both a Chaos Knight and a Dragon Knight will make very short work of this tier 3 if Bait's not careful.
That's a lot of damage on the tier 3.
Yeah, seriously. And I'm sure I bet they did hardly anything to the opposing tier 3.
It's still being pushed in by creeps, right? They're pinging it out, but there was no damage. Heart now completed, plus 2k gold on Exotic Deer.
Level 20, is that when you get the Reality Rift Pierce's spell immune?
Yeah, it should be, yeah.
Yeah. Not that, well, our Void, I think, is going BKB.
Yeah, it is. It's such a sick talent, by the way. It's so good.
Oh, yeah. It's amazingly good.
I think CK could be one of those heroes that's just utterly busted unless you have the right counters right now. Like, in a game such as this one. Like, they did buy Eggs now on Dandy, and that Whale should be completed very soon on 5-up. So that's some extra damage coming from two of them.
All right, Bait, if you're going to go back and do the same thing you tried before, 5Comrades say, okay, we will we'll oblige your idea as a Dota right now and just go back to hitting that tier 3.
Exotic Deer needs to be careful for the glimpse, though. There's the ward.
Glimpse pull back. Doesn't go for the Phantasm trick. Feels like he's tanky enough, and he's not wrong. And
Just joking.
he just kind of chills there for a while, and everyone from Bait is like, I'm not sure about that one, Chief. Chronosphere on to 2 while the Batrider tries to get his initiation in, but it gets fumbled and he gets roared instead. Now they're going to be able to catch up to the rest of the heroes and pull back in. Nice Disruptor, the Static Storm going out so he can actually Reality Rift and pull all his illusions onto this Void, who is stunned up currently. He finally does manage to get him, and the Void dies so quickly and doesn't have a buyback. Now, 5Comrades, I think they could just straight up end the game.
I would be surprised if they don't at least take the side.
Yeah.
The tier 2s are standing on the other lanes, so because of that they can't get megas. But they can definitely take the side. This whole team fight, Lina has had a double damage rune. It didn't matter.
Oh, the toss in. They threw last hero at Exotic Deer, and Exotic Deer's actually getting a little low. Maybe they can actually kill him. The Ink Swell gets the stun onto the Tiny, a little bit of movement to get out, but he just can't get away fast enough. Dendy, now to Yule Scepter, LSA, missing that one on Divine Llama, but it doesn't matter. He can't go anywhere anyway. They do manage to bring down the big boy of Exotic Deer, and they didn't even lose their melee barracks for it. Flash also gonna get caught. Never mind. I did not really think they could hold against that Chaos Knight, but they did just fine.
Yeah, I definitely didn't expect that too. Like, they managed to kill him. It took them quite a long time to kill him off. If you're 5Comrades, you need a Lotus Orb or a Force Staff, just anything. That Glimmer ain't gonna cut it. You need another item to toss on that CK to just make his life a little bit easier. He obviously doesn't want to buy a BKB yet, so it's a difficult game to buy a BKB, right? You're playing versus Void and Beastmaster. So you're thinking, if I get it, they still have Roar, they still have Chrono.
I'm trying to think. Maybe I'm just rusty, but I don't remember a game where I felt like my read on the game was just so off.
Your read is not off. CK is pretty much damn unkillable. Like, and they should have been
pretty much.
Yeah, they should have been able to take a better fight there. It wasn't you.
Primal Roar onto the Batrider before he can get the lasso off again. Last hero just doing a really solid job of countering Ducky every step of the way. The BKB does go off from Bloody Sky, but because of the Aghanim Scepter from the Lina, they still claim the kill, as well as the bounty that last hero laid out on the opposing offlaner.
Tell me, Cap, what did you say about ending the game? You meant bait. You meant bait.
Yeah, I could see it all, in my mind's eye, the future where Bait wins the game in 2 minutes' time.
Yeah, there's some rusty gameplay coming from 5Comrades right now. They're dying a little bit. Feedin and Flash.
Like your cores are dead, so...
Okay, there's no detection. Oh, there it is.
I feel like going outside of the base is just not a good idea at this point.
Yeah.
Because if you go outside of the base, you're going to get spotted against a Beastmaster, and because of Disruptor, you're going to get caught.
I thought 5-Up was jumping in, tossing back, but yeah, it didn't happen. But they can push high ground now. Like, your CK is alive, he has ulti, Batrider is back up. Alright, you can't push. Time to chill. But Bait went from having the worst time in this game to just instantly switching it all up. And
yeah, like, I'm still so confused, like, how the events of this game actually happened.
Like, that high ground defense was so crazy from Bait. I don't even think if they planned it to happen the way it did, because Chrysalis and Batrider, you know that meme when they're watching each other from the cars? Like one.
Oh yeah.
Like Batrider is jumping behind Void, Void is jumping behind Bat.
Batrider pass by each other.
Just passing by each other. Void is catching the whole team of 5Comrades, because of which Batrider dies. Yeah. And then Disruptor uses a very good ultimate to prevent CK from just devastating them. So a pretty good defense overall by Bait, well executed. A Lincoln's is what CK bought. Alright. It beefs you up a little bit. Like, I actually think Exotic Deer hates buying BKB on this hero. Like, I haven't seen him buy it yet. So he goes for Lincoln's. it gives you some stats. It makes your illusions a little bit stronger too. But man, they have many ways of breaking it.
Trying to catch him, pick up with the lasso. I think 5UP was positioning himself to break smokes and hoping to be able to blink away in time, but Daki with the quick reactions there. As soon as the smoke broke, he jumped into the pit and grabbed whatever he saw. Now bait. Oh, they're running on out to the side lanes. I like what Dendy's doing here, not running back to his base, but looking to put pressure on the side lanes, trying to keep 5Comrades from sieging the high ground.
He's got travels as well, right? So he can go back easily and fast.
And one of the good parts about Lina is you can push in waves without showing on the map.
I'm not sure about this smoke. They might be going all the way back to that triangle that they were on before, because this smoke isn't going to find anything else. The problem is they're pushing, and they're not about to stop.
Yeah, it seems like maybe they made like a blind read that like somebody was going to stop this. Somebody was going to push out bottom.
Yeah, like
they're right. Daki's going to boots of travel TP in. What a trap. Daki, he's going to go for the BKB. Oh, if he gets bashed too many times here, he is going to feel so bad. The Primal Roar is not there in time. He does a nice flame break pushback.
Dandy.
Eul Scepter from Dendy, though, is going to catch him.
Now, that was a really good read.
Yeah, that was solid.
They saw that he was respawning, right? And because of that, they went to that position. Very well played by them. And you actually anticipated it.
Yeah, that was... Even as it was happening, I couldn't see that coming. The Chronosphere onto the Chaos Knight. Chrysalis is laying out some real damage now. And because he didn't go BKB, can't do anything about that Static Storm. Exotic Deer's dead. 2 heroes, 2 cores.
Has no buyback.
And the only thing that was stopping Bait from going high ground before was the fact that Exotic Deer was up. Now, surely they're just going to go for some buildings here. Unless maybe your Beastmaster gets caught in an awkward position. Crystallize is going to try and help him out here. They finally gets off the Primal Roar onto the DK instead of the supports that he was hoping for. Beastmaster survives. They get yet another core kill and probably both supports now thanks to the glimpse. That's a wipe.
That's a wipe.
And no buybacks anywhere on the side of 5Comrades, so Bait can close out the game.
Okay, DK can buy back. That Rider is up in 5 seconds.
I can't wait for 5Comrades to prove me wrong.
Yeah. Scroll back like 2 minutes after 5Comrades are in the Radiant base. Man, this game is just so clowny. So many just things that you can't anticipate are happening.
Yeah.
The people are just getting picked off constantly. Like that CK. What's he even doing there? He just saw his Bat Rider die, and he stays exactly in the position in which they're going to go for, right? Where their next objective lies.
On the upside, they still have the tier 2 in the top lane. Bait are just going to have to back away, but we're getting to the point where the Void really does rival the Chaos Knight as a threat on the field.
No, they got that damage, and overall Void right now is, in my opinion, a better hero. Like, he's more in the meta. It's just about the way the game went. I didn't think that he should ever be in this position in which he's able to actually rival him, and he's able to dish out all the damage that's necessary.
Yeah. I feel like we haven't really seen, like, the Chaos Knight similar to, I was watching, like, some Alchemist matchups, like, very similar to that idea of when you build Abyssal Blade on Alch, you can just man mode at 100 to 0 of Faceless Void. The Chaos Knight, the entirety of the game is supposed to represent that threat, but I feel like we haven't actually seen it in action.
It comes down to the Blood Sky and Taki. These two boys, they need to start making moves. They need to start making some pickoffs, because it's not on Exotic Deer to start things off. It's on them.
And Daki's just been having a hard time, understandably, against a Beastmaster, who's probably one of your harder counters. A combination of good vision and a point-and-click stun makes things really difficult for you to actually get a good lasso, but you still got to find a way to make it work.
Yeah, this should be a very good smoke for Bait.
Smoke breaks, goes for the dust, Flash is not in range of that dust. Bloody Sky does just force the initiation with his BKB. He gets Laguna Bladed and Primal Roar, but there's not anything left really in the tank except for that Chronosphere. But if Crystal is never able to get it off, he finally goes for the BKB, activates the Chronosphere onto the Chaos Knight, who is so far forward away from the rest of his team. They give him an Inkswell, trying to help him out. The Glimmer Cape may actually help him survive. He goes inside the trees, but no, he tried to go for a desperate TP out. Never gonna happen while Dendy is there. Puts a stop to it with the Eul Scepter. 2 down, and Crystallis is going to find a third here. Is Bloody Sky.
Another TP. This one. Yeah, it should work. But CK is that. He does have buyback, which he'll definitely need to use. They should push in towards that tier 2 on the top lane, which has creeps already around. But that teamfight, man, CK, he waited for so long to join it. And when he did, he just got chronoed, and all the ultis that they had just went straight on him. Like, I think you need a BKB no matter what. Like, your illusions are great, you need stats for the illusions, but without the BKB...
Oh, 5 up. Tosses him back. The Bat Rider says, okay, this is not the worst thing in the world. I can grab Dendi, which is a really big kill. If they can actually bring him down, Exotic Deer easily dishes out the damage to do so. Crystallis is going to be up next. They really got to catch him. Daki, hot pursuit right now. Very low on HP, but he knows this is just desperation time. They got to get as many kills as they can off of breaking bait like that. And they do get 2 heroes that have no buyback, Blizzard. We'll see what they can do with this.
When's Rosh spawning? Okay, they're not really that lucky with Rosh. if Roshan was about to spawn, this could be much, much worse for bait. But yeah, this game is a roller coaster, right?
Yeah, this is turning out to be the legendary match that many of the analysts here predicted.
Fish, yeah, definitely. We all predicted this. Fishman is having at least a really good game. His ultimates are always breaking up the fights in 2 different ways. He's stopping these initiations from the CK, like specifically because he doesn't have the BKB, right? All he has to do is press his ulti on the CK and suddenly he's stuck there with all his illusions for 5 seconds. You deal with everyone else and then you deal with him. But I'm done predicting this game. Like, I'm just done.
We're just along here for the ride for now.
They're 2 sides down, but anything can happen.
You get some tier 4 items. I'll shake things up a bit.
Did he get the horn, Minotaur horn?
Yes.
Maybe you give it to CK at least.
Yeah, I think so too.
No, that's on the Radiant. On the Radiant, yeah, Tiny's got it.
Oh. Yeah, Illusion is cape. I mean, that's kind of hard to say no to as a Chaos Knight.
Yeah, it's also
having a free illusion to be able to throw around. Small little pickup here on Flash. Sitting around the Roshan pit. Everyone's just playing for this 3rd Rosh at this point.
I love the Lincolns on Lina, by the way. Yeah, I'm not even thinking because of the Bat Rider and the Dragonite. It's also extremely good versus the CK. Just being able to dodge his initiation.
Yeah, his Reality Rift is certain death at this point if he successfully pulls you into an illusion.
We were talking about where is this damage going to come from, but as you can see, bait, all of these players are contributing to it. You have AC on the Beastmaster, the Veil on the Tiny, the Aghanims from the Lina. The Void that uses the Chrono, if nothing else, that's enough.
Alright, the awkward position for 5Comrades is bottom lane is going to be constantly pushing in, and they're just going to have to let their tier 4s tank it because they cannot give up control of the Roshan pit to bait. That would certainly spell the end of the game.
Yeah, this game is about to be over around the pit, most certainly. Like, this is the fight. They're pinging out the DK.
Gotta kill the Hawk, pull him back into the Glimpse. Bloody Sky does activate his BKB. This is what Bait was hoping for, just force him to use it, but Crystallis is really going for the kill because he's pumping out so much physical damage. Chronosphere only catching the DK here. DK, he does not have buyback. The Exotic Deer, he was trying to go for Crystallis, but missed out on that stun. They actually had a stolen Chronosphere that caught Dendi there, but he turned around the Laguna Blades up Daki. Force Staff over to the other side of the cliff. He's gonna be okay, but the Chaos Knight and Void, they're man fighting right now, but the Void's winning it because of all those bashes. He just can't get any damage onto the Void. This Disruptor
GG.
Really killing things for the polar old Chaos Knight. GG is called.
Man, Davai Lama using that Chrono on Dendi and then standing inside of it and hitting him was my highlight of the game. Like.